Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary.
Oh my God!
Listening to
Oh my Lord!
KAS Adventure Series. KAS Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore. You want to be shallow. You want to go up the creek.
Oh my Lord! Get out of it! Get out of it! Get in there! Come here! Come here!
Oh, looky
Stay
there.
down!
That's a micro.
Stay down!
I hope you brought the family.
Oh, don't
This is
come on.
going to be wild.
Come on. Stay down, but
Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
Oh shoot! Don't jump! Don't jump!
Ladies
Come
and
here.
gentlemen,
Come
may
here,
I
baby.
direct your attention
Come
to
freaking
something
here!
quite
Let's
extraordinary.
go! Let's
You
go!
are listening to KAS Adventure Series.
That little one freaking listen.
KAS Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore. You want to be shallow. You want to go up the creek.
21.
That is or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro banner. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild.
Look at it snake through that.
Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention?
All right, guys, what's going on? As you can see, riding solo here today. Let me start seeing what's going on in the comments. All right, we got some people rolling in here. We decided to roll that video. Just it takes a little while for people to get going when they see that we're live. So wanted to show off a little bit of the adventure, for the Kayak Adventure Series. That was a fish catch that I caught during the Hobie Bass Open Series event on Lake Dardanelle. It was pretty amazing. Helped me win that event. So very cool to see those kind of wild fish catches. And obviously a lot of those are going to happen at the Kayak Adventure Series. And that is the whole point, to be able to show a video just like that you guys just watched on that big screen in the theater at our awards. It's going to be a ton of fun. So welcome to the live stream, guys. We got a cool show today. Lots of people popping in and out. And we're going to kick this thing off with the Lines In segment presented by Sunline. And that was basically it. I just showed you the Lines In. That was the fish catch. It was pretty cool. And getting into little backwaters and places like that you'll be able to do at the Kayak Adventure Series, or fish offshore, live scope, all that too. That it's all an adventure, all of it. I was actually at the Indiana, it's called the Indy Sports Show this past weekend, and doing some seminars. And that's kind of what I was saying to people, about the Kayak Adventure Series, as they were asking about it and wanting some more information, that, you really get to choose your own adventure, just like that cool audio clip intro there that Billy made. You get to choose your own adventure. If you love the offshore and live scope and electronics and motors, you get to do it. If you love that little backwater stuff, shallow water, accessing creatively, which of course is one of the things that really differentiates the kayak from the boat. We want to allow that, in this kayak fishing tournament. So choose your own adventure, and I appreciate you guys choosing the adventure here with me today. I'm going to bring in some folks here in just a minute. I'm going to bring in this man right now, because at the Columbus Fishing Show, Mr. Bobby Roast Beef with the Jigs and Bigs podcast. What's up, man?
How you doing, homie?
Good, man. I'm still thinking about that cool trivia night you did there with Dark Horse Tackle, and you did such an amazing job. So we're definitely going to have you host a trivia, because it was fishy trivia, and it was so cool, because we were able to, as competitors, we were super competitive, and I'm sitting there trying to get the answers, and it's not just getting the answers right. It was getting it right as fast as possible too.
Exactly.
So it was very fun, man. Very fun. We're gonna have to do that. And the reason I thought about it is because I left my credit card there at that place that night, and I still haven't got it back. I was trying to drive through Columbus to get it. And the guy that was working there, he was like, I can't find it. And I was like, I called a week ago, and your boss said he had it. And I was driving through to go to the Indy show, going to get it. And the guy that was working there didn't really seem to care. He's like, I don't know, man. It's not here where the other cards are. I don't know what I can do. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I still don't have my credit card, but I'll get it back.
That place had a lot of charm, but it definitely had the type of charm where you're not getting that exact card back. You might get somebody else.
Probably,
You know,
probably not. It's almost time to cut bait with that card and just get a new one from,
I would.
from Visa, MasterCard, whoever it was from.
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
but anyway, so hey man, thanks for joining us real quick.
Oh, glad
Leave
to do it.
whenever you got to leave. We get it. This is just a call-in show,
Sure.
but let's talk about. I mean, some of the things that you're most excited about. With the Kayak Adventure Series, and which one you might be at, which one or two. I don't know. I think maybe the Susquehanna is the closest for you, right?
The Susky definitely is, and that one's totally on the docket. I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the thing that I'm most like, primarily the thing that I like about this so much, is that the emphasis is more on like creating an adventure or creating memories or camaraderie, fellowship, all that stuff. And it's the competition, the end of it, while there's a lot of opportunities for people to compete in different ways, it's sort of on the back burner. Like, there's going to be folks that are going to take it super seriously.
Right.
There are other folks that are just going to be there specifically to say, I love this activity. I want to be able to do this with a group of people and have a good time, enjoy this whole experience, share, the stories that get created along the way. And I think that's the best. I think that's the best, top tier piece of it that I'm looking forward to. So Susky for sure. Maybe the last one. Maybe as well. It all depends. I got such a crazy year, Drew. It is so nuts. So
no, you're a busy
but yeah.
guy, man. When you guys check out the podcast, Jigs and Bigs, it's
Oh yeah.
you go all kinds of different directions with that show. I love it, man. You guys goof off. You're crazy, you're wild, but you're serious. You tackle a lot of big topics in the sport of overall, which is pretty cool in a very serious way, because there's a lot of changes going on in our sport, and we're still, I think, at the very beginning, you know what I mean, of especially with kayak fishing, obviously, but very, very early on. You got to think about how long the NFL and big sports we follow, basketball, have been around. I mean, I'm talking even bass fishing as a whole is at a genesis when you consider how long those other sports have been around, since 18 whatever, you know what I mean? So the sport is changing with technology, of course, the big topic of conversation in the bass boat world. And for kayak, it's kind of like there's a lot of conversations with technology and things that, like, what's the best structure and format for some of this stuff. And again, we're just doing what people reach out and like, man, we really want an event where we can kind of do anything and everything. So we're hopefully providing that, and just fortunate that GoPro and some other big sponsors came on board and believed in the in our vision and our passion for this. So yeah, I'm excited about your podcast, so go check it out. I'm sure we'll be on there again talking about it before the Shoaly Palooza and before these events during the year. I'm sure I'll come on there and we'll have you on again. But I want to have you for sure on the Susky, since you've committed to it. You got to do trivia. The after party is at the Flying Taco. You guys go check it out. It's right on the river. And we have the whole rooftop reserved for us. We overlook the Susquehanna River. It's right there. It's so beautiful. And we can definitely put up a screen. I know they have TVs there. I'm not sure if they have any on the rooftop. They might actually, because the rooftop's inside and outside. They probably have it actually. TV's inside, but
perfect.
By the pool tables and all that's upstairs. And what's that game? It's like you slide the stuff on the salt. It's basically like a shuffleboard, but inside. Indoor. And they have those kind of games there. Darts and all that kind of stuff's upstairs. So we'll do that. We'll do the trivia there that night. So as soon as we leave the Keystone Theater, we're going, and you're going to host it. And it's going to be a ton of fun, man. Now, are you excited about, I know we're talking about making the memories and all that stuff, but you got to be excited about getting out there on the water at some of these incredible locations too. And just, fish in the Susky and especially a new section of the Susky. Are you going to do the micro bag? Are you into that kind of extra stuff too? Or just going to stick
absolutely. I love it. I think personally, that the micro bag could be like the dark horse, for the entire event, because we talked about it at the live event that we did in Columbus. Catching those small fish is difficult.
It is.
They come off the hook so easily. Their mouths are formed differently. That tissue, it doesn't hold on to the hook the same way a more mature fish does.
Yeah.
So, it can be a challenge. And being somebody I've never fished the Susky before at all. So I'm excited for that alone.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing that anyway. I may try, if it's possible, to get down ahead of time and pre-fish, just to kind of get a little bit of familiarity with it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You should, for sure. I'm gonna bring in Ryan. He's actually going to be at that event, RJM Fishtails, and we'll throw it up here as the Angler Spotlight presented by Real Tree Fishing. Ryan actually, Bobby, get this. You grew up there, right? I mean, that's your hometown originally. Is that right? Towanda,
Yes.
Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay?
We got you.
Oh, yeah.
Sound good.
Yep. That's where I was born. I was there till I was about 10 years old, and I used to fish the banks as a kid. And, my uncles barely ever wanted to take me out on their boats because I was a little rugrat. But yeah, I spent the time on the banks there just throwing rooster tail, whatever I could throw out there. Just did 1,000 casts and caught smallmouth, and I would take some live huggle mites and just throw them on the hook and just try for the best. I was only 10, so I wasn't really great at fishing at the time. But I had fun.
That's
nice.
the name of the game.
Yep.
Absolutely, man. And it's pretty cool to see, the memories and the experience that we're putting together. It's not just about the competition, although it's a big part. That it's interesting to see how it seems to be appealing to a large group of anglers because, you've got your Russ Snyders, Jody Queen, your, Abby Abendanza, Christine Fisher, there's a lot of the anglers that I fish with on those kind of like elite level of kayak fishing. They're very, very, serious, the best of the best level. And it's been interesting to see how many of them are like, we're going to come and fish some of these, we're going to hit 1, 2, or 3. They seem like a lot of fun because I just did that payout structure, guys, last week with Amanda Brannon. We got it done. And we're about to post it live probably this week, I would say. And I don't have it all by memory, but I'll tell you this right now. If we have 200 people in the tournament, in the individual division, which is $150 a pop, right? If we have 200 people, we're paying down to 15%, all the way to not top 10%, 15%, which is more in the spirit of the Kayak Adventure Series, right? To pay out down more places. Let's spread that money out. However, at $150 a pop with 200 anglers, the winner is still going to get $7,000. It's
That's
not,
what I'm saying. It's a sizable pot.
It's sizable. If you start then here, this is what else is cool. Then think about it like this. That 2-man team division is still something you can. I should throw up the Bust and Myths thing here. Here's our Bust and Myths presented by Boondocks. Bust and Myth is you can enter. Some people thought you only had to choose the individual division or the team division or the micro bag. They didn't understand. No, you can enter all of them simultaneously.
Yes.
The team, so if you're winning $7,000 in the individual and your team wins another $4,000, that's $9,000 right there that you won, plus some prizes that are given away at each event. You're pushing $10,000 just with 200. Now, if we start getting 300 and 400 people, oh man, look out. It's going to be a big pot. So it's cool to see some of those top tier anglers want to slide into these events. They're not meant to pull, we try to deconflict with all the other schedules from the Elite Series, and people may notice on the website that we have, Bassmaster, KBF, Hobie, All-American. We have all those listed on our website. We're definitely in the game of growing everything and promoting all of it, for sure. So it'll be cool to see different skill levels of anglers rubbing elbows. I think the beginners and intermediate are going to learn a lot from being there with some of those big names that they're fans of and follow along. And you know what? You might just beat them, which is cool because it's a five fish limit over 2 days or a day and a half, Friday afternoon, Saturday. Anyone's got a shot when that is the format. If you made that 10 fish or 15 fish or 3 or 4 days, like, a golf tournament's 4 days for a reason, and the cream usually rises to the top. It's hard, but in a one round, you'll notice some kind of no names being at the top of a golf leaderboard, or even the Bassmaster Elite Series. I'm not saying everyone that there is not a no name, but you know what I'm saying? The ones who are not the favorites, sometimes boom, for 1 day. So with just 5 fish over those day and a half format, you can beat some of the folks that you really like idolize and look up to in the fishing industry. So that's always kind of a cool little thing too. What do you guys think about how that format fits into basically appealing to some of the higher end anglers, but then also still catering really well to those beginners and, intermediates with the micro bag and the 2-man team and a little bit lower price point for that kind of stuff?
I like the concept. I think it's going to give, like you said, a lot of new anglers a chance to win this because it is only a day and a half. But with that half day, if you do well, you can stay at the top of the leaderboard. If you don't, at least gives you that opportunity to make it up on Saturday. And it kind of gives you practice if you're coming from far away as well. If that's the only time you can do it, people have limited PTO. So I think it's a great concept. I like it a lot. I like that how you set it up. I think it's great. So I think people are going to have some fun. I think the Susquehanna event is going to be pretty big. So I'm hoping we get like 300 anglers and make that prize pot, really rise up. Do you plan on giving any like gifts as well to the winners, or just strictly cash, and you're leaving all like the prizes for like raffle and stuff like that?
So a couple of things. That's a good question. See, this is why we've got Ryan on here for questions like this. Is a viewer call-in show right here. So, and we got Dustin Hoy on from Raccoon Creek Outfitters. He's joining us too, but I'll answer your question real quick, Ryan. We're going to give away some prizes at each event too. I've got to figure out how to divvy it up the best, but it could be like a micro anchor power pole, right? Or a couple $250 gift cards to Yak Attack for the two main team. There will be prizes along with. That's why when someone asked me last week about the payout's going to be like 100% or more if you consider the prizes that are getting paid out. But obviously some cash has to get pulled back to run the business. That's just how it goes. We can't have all this. It takes a lot of time and money. Trust me, more than I wish it would take. But so, yeah, we will be giving prizes out, but then there will also be raffles at events, a few things. The kayak, which obviously our raffles go to pediatric cancer. And I'm trying to see here I got muted you, Dustin, in case there's any background noise for a second. But yeah, so the raffle items will be at each event. And then also the championship. I always say championship, and I should never say that. It's open finale, broodstock. We'll have more. So what we did is with some of that money that's getting pulled back, and held back and not paid out at each event, some of that goes to make the broodstock even bigger for the payouts. And then also the more prizes will be given away at the broodstock too. So broodstock's bigger in every way, but it's just an open event, just totally open. The only thing that makes it a championship is the fact that you are crowning your angler of the year and your team of the year there, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much what makes it the championships. Yeah. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. It's going to be pretty cool to see how it shakes out. And Dustin, what's up, buddy? You're coming in here. Let me unmute you. Yeah, there you go. You got yourself. How you doing, man?
How you doing, guys?
Going good. Going good,
man. Yep.
Wednesday.
We're excited about the Shoals Palooza coming up here real soon.
So yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Because Dustin, I noticed you're an angler who may actually end up being at like almost every event. I mean, like you're signing up for every one of them, or maybe you already have. I don't know. Tell us. I mean, are you fishing most of them, or?
Yeah, my game plan is to fish all of them if I can. So,
wow.
Yeah, I pretty much cleared everything else out this year, and I like the fact that our Sundays will be open.
Yeah.
We can drive back on Sundays. We can jump in one of the ACA instructor courses. It kind of gives us a bunch of different kind of leadways and stuff to do. And also, I'm a river guy at heart, so the ability to hit rivers and launch where I want to, that kind of stuff is really appealing to me. So,
yeah, no doubt. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of folks that fish that way. As you guys know, that's just kind of that's why we got a kayak. I mean, a lot of us, that's literally why we got it. So, what's interesting, you guys have to bear with me a little bit, but in a sports analogy here, what's interesting about, like, think about, again, I use golf because it's a good example. When they were over in Scotland just hacking at rocks and they first started this activity, it wasn't a sport, right? Activity.
Yep.
When they turned it into a sport, the whole rule set of golf was to make sure those rules keep that activity like the activity, you know what I mean? Like to keep it what it is, why it was special, why it was fun. So if we're going to turn it into a competition, well, we can't make sure we got to keep it what it is within that competition. It's got to stay. And for us kayak anglers, that activity, what made it special was, going shallower than bass boats can go, getting to water and fish that they can't pressure. Even sometimes that means accessing in ways and places that boats can't access, doing all those things. So the goal of this kayak adventure series is literally to just make sure the sport, and why so many of us love it and fell in love with it, stays the sport, the same activity, but yet now in a competitive manner. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Bobby's on the move, man. He's got places to go. He's got things to do. He's taking his kayak right now. He's driving to the Shoals Palooza right now. He's ready. He's pre-fishing.
Well, my plan is next year. Let's see how this year goes. Maybe next year, Drew, I can fish all of your events too.
Yeah.
I'd like to try something new and different. And, now Dustin's got me thinking, but I already kind of committed to other things this year. But definitely next year, I want to see where you're going. If you plan on hitting Florida next year, I'm definitely gonna be going down there.
Yeah. So we'll see it at a couple this year or whatever, however many you make, maybe just the one, but definitely look forward to seeing there at your home, fishery there, or used to be home, I guess. But are you in South Carolina right now, Ryan, for the bass?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
not,
cool.
I'm not fishing for bass. I'm actually going to fish for KBF. Last I looked, bass is like
Oh.
243 people.
So what's the KBF one that's there?
That's going to be the weekend after. So it's going to be
Okay.
the first weekend of March. So I did some practice this past weekend. I'm going to practice this weekend. I'm going to probably go out Sunday, try to let those guys fish the first day. I know there's going to be, I mean, Lake Murray's big, but, with 250 people going to be out there, I'm going to try to stay out of their way and not interfere with them winning money. I don't know who's in the lead anyway, but yeah, I'll be practicing. My wife said I should have done bass. It's too late to sign up now, but it's kind of hard to do every event for everybody, just with PTO and everything else, and also.
It's tough, and that's what we thought too. We said, it's gonna be tricky for folks. So what we wanted to do with our series is, and again, this is a good conversation because it kind of touches on some of the the main topics, the main points of emphasis. We make it where you just have to fish 2 events to be qualified for the AOY, 2 of the regular season 5. I should say 2 of the 5, but then also the finale. So if you do good, if someone does fish, have limited amount of time like you, and they can just fish 2 of ours, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, I've done pretty well. I need to go to that finale to try to win that title now. You know what I mean? So really you just fish 2, and then you see what happens and see if you're in the hunt. But if you fish 3 or 4 of the KAS events, and obviously you give yourself a mulligan or 2 if you have a bad event. So that's kind of the way AOI is structured, and to kind of keep it where we just want less events, more people, not more events, which is just, it's going to conflict with too much stuff all over the country. We want to, go to each region, have a big party. And like you said, Ryan, next year is going to be exciting. We're probably going to start further south, like you're saying, and then, see where it goes. But I do have that schedule completely done. 2025 is done. Like literally the whole schedule is done. We're going to announce it real soon, sooner than most series typically put out their schedules, just because we want you guys to have a big heads up on it, so you can start exploring some of those fisheries this year while it's still nice outside this year. So we'll get that knocked out. But yeah, I'm going to bring Ryan Van Tine here. Anybody need to go? Does anyone need to go? Are you guys good? I'll bring him in. We could have 5 on the screen, but anybody?
No, I'm good.
You just go whenever you want to. I'll bring Ryan Van Tine in.
Yep.
All right.
He's excited.
Yo.
What's up, buddy? How's it going, man? Another PA guy. There's a lot of PA talk here on this show.
I got a little meet and greet set up with Dustin and very shortly here.
Very shortly.
There you go. Yeah, you're going to be at a show pretty close to me, and in between Ryan and I, basically. So
yeah, we're in Youngstown. The 2nd, 3rd of March.
Yeah, 2nd. Yeah,
so
I'll be there.
Not this weekend, the following weekend. So.
All right. Cool. I think I'm in town, so I have to swing by. I believe I'm in town, but we'll see what happens with the schedule, and I have to swing by and see you at that show. It's a new kind of, this is show season, as everyone kind of knows. I was at the Indy Sports Show, the Columbus Fishing Expo. Bobby was there. It's Dustin. You've done a lot of shows. You were down in Columbus, and it's what it is, right?
Yeah.
But so this is a new show, so you guys go check it out if you're around Youngstown. What's the name of the show? Do you remember?
It's the Great Lakes Fishing Expo.
That's right, Great Lakes Fishing Expo.
Convention Center in Girard.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice, man. So, Ryan, you got any topics you want us to cover? You got any questions, topics, anything I can, go over about the Kayak Adventure series?
Excitement of how different this series is. This series just, the way I am as a person, this series fits who I am and what I represent as a person. Like, I'm excited to go and just mingle, fish all weekend, have dinner with everyone that's there, listen to the speakers, the small towns that you're having these in. I love doing it in the fall up here in PA. There's a couple of towns along the Allegheny. They have what we call Apple Fests. And it's just the most beautiful thing along the river. Everyone gets together, visit all those small businesses on the main strip in town there. It's just a lot of fun. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's a lot to pull off.
People for catching small fish. So, hey, that fits me too.
Exactly. I wonder how many people are going to enter the biggest 5 in that $25 micro bag. I just wonder how many people are how many people are going to do it nervous that they're doing it to hedge? You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I'm not having a good day, I can switch to microbag. But how many people are doing it the opposite? They're thinking like, I'm going to win that biggest 5 and also win the smallest 5 and just be some sort of real,
I'm going for both. So
yeah, there you go. There you go.
it's actually funny. I just got my fishing rod set up. I've got an 8-foot ultralight that I'm basically going to be throwing like little streamers, like fly fishing gear.
Yeah.
And ripping it along. So I think it's just going to be fun. I mean, a chance to catch something big with it, it's going to be even better. But you catch a 5 to 10 incher, it's still going to have a good time. So
yeah, people are going to come up with some creative, like ice fishing rods and little teeny ultralights and small setups because, like we talked about earlier, it is harder. It's funny. It is harder to catch a 5 than it is an 8 or 9 or 10. And it's harder to catch a 23 than it is a 16 and 17. It works the same way. It's actually crazy. When I actually did it over there in Towanda on the Susky and tried it, and I've mentioned this on podcasts before, it blew me away how the challenge was equal. And even though I wasn't, pulling in a big fish, I was just as excited when I finally got the one that I sighted, and I could tell it was a 5.5 or 6, not a 7 or 8 that are all around it. It was just as fun. I was like, this is awesome. I'm catching more fish. I'm seeing more fish. I'm more like engaged in the entire, tournament, which is cool. Cause I just want the more fish you hook in a tournament, the better, because your heart's pounding. You know what I mean? The whole time when you get a fish hooked in a tournament, like this could be the one. And it is challenging to catch that little 5. I can't give away anything right now that I learned. And you guys, it doesn't take long to go out there and try to catch a 5 and figure some stuff out. But there are some things you have to do to make the odds in your favor to catch and land those fish. And maybe fly rods and things like that will end up being, used and other creative stuff. So we'll see. A lot of that Z-Man Micro Finesse, which is the headline sponsor of that division, is definitely going to come into play. So
I can't wait to see who gets on camera, them hook setting a 5-inch like a 1987 Bassmaster Classic and just throwing that fish across the river.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Let's see. So speaking of, I want to touch on something that you mentioned, Dustin, the ACA and Brian, the seminars. The ACA is the American Canoe Association, and we don't have these listed yet, but we're working on it now. Pretty much at every event, I believe, on Sunday, which is the day after the tournament's over and the after party, all the fun. It's that if you want to stick around, all of the kayak anglers who are certified in kayak fishing and paddling through the ACA, level 1 or level 2, level 3, whitewater, whatever level they can teach all of these paddling skills. And again, the ACA is one of the oldest nonprofits in the country, and it's the third party who certified that Dustin and I and the others like Jeff Little, Russ Snyders, Wade from Yak Attack, I'm trying to think, Jameson Redding. You got Chuck Earls up here in Ohio as well. Like a bunch of us are certified with them to teach this. So you're actually learning the proper paddle strokes, techniques, and things that are going to save your life. So that's happening on Sunday, and you'll get a link to be able to register for that stuff. I'm going to figure that out with the guys. It could just be a link that sends you to, Dustin's phone number, and you just call him up and, can pay him through Venmo or however. But there's going to be a way through the Kayak Adventure Series where you guys can sign up for that. The other thing I want to touch on was the seminars, because we have a brand new sponsor to announce today, guys. Guess what? The seminars, I have lots of sponsors. I could actually announce new ones. The seminars, guess who the breakfast, and you guys tell me, this is great. I have you guys on. I have you 4 on here. I need you to answer the question. Should it be called the blank, whatever I tell you in a minute, the sponsor, the blank brunch or the blank breakfast? Okay, here we go. The new sponsor that is sponsoring the seminar series is Bass University. The Bass University with the crew.
The Bass U breakfast.
The Bass U breakfast or the Bass U brunch. They both have alliteration, Ryan. So you got to. What do you think? You think breakfast?
I think brunch.
Brunch.
Yeah, me too. Because it's going to be a little late morning.
It's 10 to 12:30.
Yeah, I'm saying brunch
because I think this flows better.
Bass
Bass University brunch, or you could say bub.
Why don't we just be honest? Let's just call it bottomless mimosas by Bass U. Let's just call it what it's going to be.
Yeah, let's call it. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's actually funny because we've built in this I mean, everything with this series is literally down to you can check it out on the website. Everything's on the website, guys. Hour by hour itinerary. It's all been thought out so meticulous based on how can I help you guys, the anglers, catch more fish, have more fun, create more friendships and bond, right? And just so I guess what I'm saying is, Bobby, you're joking, but
you're always creating
what's that?
bonds. Just you're unintentionally creating bonds. Now it's intentional. There's going to be a lot of bondage.
Yeah, a lot of the Bash U bondage. Yeah, no. So what? Yeah, that's getting a little crazy. But that's what I'm saying is because people are going to be there having a lot of fun and getting maybe a little too loose even. I wonder how that could even end up affecting the actual event itself, because I mean, we give you guys time to recover with the brunch and have food, hang out. We don't get you on the water till 3 p.m., so good grief. You can definitely recover if you end up staying out a little too late, having a little too much fun. And then on Saturday, I guess there is no tournament on Sunday, so you can do whatever, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think just as many fish stories and fish catch videos, the stories and the videos from all the other activities. That's what I'm interested to see.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blast.
Some of them might have to be private message videos, but it'll still be fun.
Dude, there's no such thing as private anything anymore. If you ever send anything digital, you better be already in the back of your mind thinking, if this goes public, am I cool with it?
Going on the internet.
It could potentially end up on the internet. Trust me. It will at some point.
As I say, it's a good chance.
Yeah, very good chance. Especially if you send something to somebody and then all of a sudden especially in relationships, but even friendships, if the relationship deteriorates or you do something wrong or they do something wrong to you, it's, well, look what I got on so-and-so, from the first broodstock back in 2024. So anyway, it'll be fun to see how it all shakes down. But I will mention some other sponsors. I mean, I think I mentioned Far Wide last week, the app, which is really cool. Cross Kicks, the shoe company. You guys seen the Cross Kicks?
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty cool because they got the Tetra. The Tetra is the one for us is when we're actually doing our activity. Other ones are great too. Comfortable water shoes. But the Tetra, man, it's got that neoprene like sock thing that it just doesn't let little rocks and pebbles get into your, water shoes when you get the rocks and pebbles, you're always kicking them out and it's frustrating. That neoprene sock doesn't let it happen. It is super comfortable with that cork sole. And again, it's more of a kayak fishing shoe, not like a true wading shoe. I'm going to wade all day long and fish wading, because the bottom soles aren't felt or something like that. You can put those studs in there, that you screw in to make it more felt friendly if you're going to wade all day. So you can do that with those, cool. Which is pretty cool. So Cross Kicks, Yak Gadget, John over there came on board and was like, man, I've seen him at a couple shows and he was excited about what we're doing. And he's really Yak Attack's a sponsor and Yak Gadget, but they're really, if you look at their product lines, like Yak Attack, they've been doing this a lot longer than John at Yak Gadget. And John, he feels like he's more this niche guy that's going to make a product that maybe only a few people out there need or a few hundred, but he's going to pull that off. And Yak Attack's kind of the, grown and gotten bigger, and they're definitely making products for the masses now. And they still make some cool niche stuff too. But I mean, think about what their new track packs with, they've got the black packs, things that everyone needs a backpack. Everyone needs a tackle box. We all need, lights and everything. So anyway, it's cool to have Yak Gadget on there because he's got a little bit more of a niche, following and niche products, which is pretty cool. And a really, really good dude that appreciates what we're doing. Yak Rods, speaking of Yak again, Yak Gadget, Yak Rods. Yak Rods is going to come on board and they're excited to be sponsoring the series. And even the guys at Slay Nation, we haven't figured out, but Slay Nation, we might have a third joint event in Pennsylvania, guys, a third one. So that thing might have 300. Ryan, I know you talked about that. They've got an event going on at the same time, and they're interested in let's team up if we're going to be there at the same time. So that'll be exciting. And because we're all about,
I love to see that. I love to see that.
Yeah, that would be cool. So
that's the neat thing about PA is you don't have to really go anywhere to fish good. I live in Western PA. I can fish Western PA my entire life and have fun fishing. Central PA, they have their stuff. There's top to bottom, the whole state. I mean, it takes me 4 hours sometimes to drive to the Susquehanna, depending on where I go. The event in Wanda, that's it's going to be where I want to go is about 4.5 hours. That's a trip. And like I brought up at the Fiesta Live, Slay Nation's out there. I haven't talked to any of them guys, but I know they have their crowd and they have their following. it would totally be worth them to do it because, I mean, they're there. They're as far from it as I am, and then kayak anglers too. I mean, it's definitely sets up for a heck of a weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I will
I
touch
will
on
tell
one
you
point you just
though,
said. That,
houses and stuff over there. Not to interrupt you, Drew, but
go ahead.
lodging is definitely filling up pretty quick over there. On the northern Susquehanna for that event. I had 3 houses booked on, or not, I was watching on Verbo, and all 3 of them got booked up within like 2 days. So, so I ended up just pulling the trigger on the 4th place.
Yeah, you got to get on that fast. The lodging for sure. At all these events, I mean, that one and the Cholipalooza is. I mean, again, you can always probably get some of the hotels in town, but if you are the kind of folks that want a house, then those are going to probably get booked up pretty quick. So
I gotta hop on, guys. I'm at
all
work, and I gotta get before I get my pay docked. I gotta.
All right,
back.
buddy. We'll see you. We'll bring in.
I gotta bounce as well.
All right, guys.
You,
we got
buddy.
some new guests in the queue, so we'll see you too.
Take care.
Beautiful. Take care,
All right,
guys. Thanks for having me.
See you. All right, bye. So I do have a couple other guys, or at least one here I'm going to bring in just a second, but I want to just quickly mention a point that Ryan touched on that I've been talking to a lot of people at these trade shows about. And it's funny because they're like, oh, I really want to go down the Cholipalooza. I'm excited about it, but it's like, man, it is pretty far drive. And I'm like, and I just say to them, I was like, well, when on a random, say this tournament isn't there, you don't go during this tournament, this Cholipalooza, when are you randomly just going to hop in the car with some buddies and go drive to Georgia and catch your first shoal bass? What other reason? And they're like, oh, I would never do that. They're like, oh yeah, I would never just go randomly, just do that. I'm like, now's your time, man. Like, you only live once. Like, let's go. Like, now's your time to catch that fish with everybody else, cross it off your bucket list, be at the first Cholipalooza, the first kayak adventure series ever. And that's pretty, I don't know. Then they were like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually, because they're never just going to do it. So they'll probably go their whole lives without ever catching a shoal bass, which is fine. But I mean, if it's on your bucket list and you love the bass, like, you got to do it, especially how big they are, how hard they fight, how much unique places and beautiful places they live. So the driving a little further, I always told people, like, at the expos too, wouldn't you rather drive like a little further, 2, 3, 4 hours further somewhere to have fishing that's 10 times as good? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's kind of like, I would rather drag through the woods and take 20 or 30 minutes to get into an access and have twice as good of fishing during the whole 8-9 hours of my fishing day than go launch somewhere that has, not as good of fishing. And I was able to just drop off a boat ramp and put right in. And that's fine. You can do that too. But I'm saying the extra drive to some of these places, because I have six, bullets to fire. And I'm kind of guiding everyone loosely, like directing everyone to these best cool locations around the country, in each region. I can't make you catch the big fish and I can't make you catch tons of fish, but I'm telling you right now, I've got you guys in the spots to do it and catch big ones and have fun. Now, whether or not it happens, obviously it's up to you, but anyway, I'm pretty excited about it. And people kind of realize, man, this is like, you only live once. I'm just going to go. They said, yeah, we're just going to go to Cholipalooza. We're going to do it because we won't ever do it otherwise. Well, let's bring in Ethan.
This whole event is really bringing.
Hello.
What's up, Ethan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I don't know you, so you got to do a little intro on your own.
Well, hi, my name's Ethan. I'm 26. I'm an airline pilot by trade, so I get to travel a lot. I've started recently, so it's been winter time. The whole time I've been traveling, haven't been able to do fishing outside of home. I'm from Georgia, actually, and
nice.
Dude, I saw the Cholipalooza was coming up, and I, started yelling. I would call my friends, and I was like, dude, we're all doing this, right? Because this is like, it's on the Flint River, which is my favorite place to catch shoal bass. And I started kayak fishing like 2 years ago, and I've been using like a Pelican, just the cheapest, most entry level one that I can get. And my parents, for my birthday this year, they told me, hey, you can get any kayak you want. What do you want? And I got the Shoalie is going to be picked up next week.
Oh, nice.
I was
That's awesome.
Which is
the
funniest thing, because I was like, I was looking at that and I was like, dude, they're talking about like it's made for the Flint River and it's doing walking around in the river with, you know, it's not for like the big open water stuff, which is, you know, I don't really care for. I'm a river fishing
Right.
guy.
Yeah, it'll be good, man.
Because have you heard of the Bass Slam, the Georgia Bass Slam?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I got into that like 3 years ago. One of my friends, he does like a lot of YouTube fishing. He showed me that and like introduced me to the world of, you know, bass subspecies. And from there, it was like, oh my gosh, I've got to catch the red eye. I've got to catch the shoalie, the Chattahoochee bass, and all these other things. So the river fishing and the kayak fishing has just, you know, changed my life. Oh my gosh, it is so much more fun than beating the bank.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got my first like decent fishing, like a dedicated fishing kayak that I'm going to be getting next week. So I'm very excited about that. And my first tournament is going to be the Shoalie Palooza.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
Because with my job, you know, I don't have much time to travel, and the time like to travel for fun. So when I'm home, it's typically like, you know, I come home, I take care of the house, the family, I leave to go back to work the next day. So I'm gonna make sure that I've got like enough days to actually go down and do this, because I've got my grandfather lives right off of Lake Juliet.
Oh yeah.
So I've got a place to stay. I was worried for a second when you guys were talking about, you know, like the places to stay, and I'm like, okay, well, I've actually got that covered.
Nice.
But yeah,
nice, man. So where did you grow up in Georgia?
I grew up just north of Atlanta, about 45 minutes.
Yep.
So
nice. I used to live up there. I used to live in like Dawsonville up there, and I grew up in
that's where I have a house. I just bought a house in Dawsonville in October.
Nice, man. So yeah, that's awesome. That's exciting, dude. And then you got the Shoalie. That's obviously Crescent's, you know, one of the sponsors and the headline sponsor of that event too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. If you don't mind for a second, I kind of work with Dark Horse Tackle, and we do the you know, the sponsoring and promoted posts kind of stuff. And that's actually how I found out about the tournament, because they said we're one of the sponsors of a kayak fishing series. And I started like going through and looking at all the events, and I was like, did that say Georgia? Does that say Thomaston? And I called my friend Austin, he does like the YouTube fishing, and he was like, yeah, I heard about that. You want to do it? So that's what actually got me to sign up for it was Dark Horse Tackle. And then
so you can do team with Austin? You guys gonna two-man team division? Yeah, that's cool, man. That's pretty exciting, for sure. And it's your first event now. So you're from Georgia. You fished the Flint. So while you're here, we have to ask him this, right? Ryan and Dustin, we got to ask him to, like, any tips, any little, you know, obviously you can't give away all the secrets, but any little tips or advice on shoal bass for anybody watching?
Really, no hole is too small. They will get in, like, you'll have like 3-pound shoal bass in like a foot of water, and like a 1.5 foot wide, foot deep, you'll find one in there.
That's a good tip. Okay. That's one of the best tips I've ever heard. It's something I never even, because I've fished for them. You know, I grew up in Georgia and fished for them a long time before I, you know, moved away from Georgia. I fished literally every creek, river they're in. I fished every mile of it pretty much. And so I think that's a really good tip, because I have caught them, and you do often catch them, like you're saying, in a real small, and we say hole. I mean, obviously it could be a rock or something that's making a little plunge pool, but I'm talking like any little current break or something that's very, very small. They could be sitting right there, and they do hide in real small spots. So you don't just throw at the biggest current breaks as you're going down the river. It's got to get every little, you know, part of the river has to get sort of picked apart. Every little soft spot. That's the best way to determine when you're looking down the river, a soft spot in the river current break. So whether it's a visible boulder or not, it's a soft spot, and it's an underwater boulder maybe. So that is a good one.
You're definitely gonna have fun with that new kayak, Keith. And the good thing about fishing rivers is that you don't have to go crazy with all the accessories. You know, you can keep it as minimal. You know, fishing the rivers. You just want to go out there with your rods and reels. You don't even need a fish finder, and you can have a blast.
What would you guys recommend as being the first couple things that I put on there? Because I know I'm going to put an anchor on there. I'm going to get the Anchor Wizard and everything. And my wife had already bought me a Garmin like fish finder, but I couldn't put it on my little Pelican. It wouldn't fit. So I've got those two things going on there. What else would you recommend, like actually putting on to equip it?
I would say
I really like the I really like the Yak Gadget cup holders. They've got places for your pliers, everything to hook on, tether onto. Also, I don't usually keep anything. I throw all my baits, like almost off plastic, seeing that kind of stuff. I'm taking off hooks. I pitch it all in there. That way, at the end of the day, it's all contained. It's neat and just easy to grab. So.
And those track packs too from Yak Attack are great. I got 2 of them now. I'm gonna add 2 more. And with the divider trays, that's basically my easy grab tackle boxes, and they're mounted and they're secure. So I would just get the track packs definitely for the Shoalie there, and you could just have 4 of those and have pretty much what you need for the day in the river in those 4 little boxes, and easy to get to, and they're really nice. I like them.
Yeah, that's a good
keep
tip,
it simple.
guys. Yeah, I like the T-Rain retractor from Yak Attack's one of my favorite because it keeps my pliers or scissors, whatever I want to put on it, like, tethered. It's just a little tether and it springs back. And I never lose them. They're always right there. So that's something I like to put on.
Definitely tether.
Me too.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. You guys have any other topics you want to cover? Or do you want me to pull in some of the questions or comments from the people watching?
I just wanted to say before Ethan came on that, I think this series is going to be really big across the kayak community. I think you're going to bring in a lot of new people that haven't done this before, because with having all these speakers and guests at these events, you're going to attract more people. People are going to learn new things. They're going to have a blast. And like you said, there's going to be a lot more friendships built with this adventure series. And I think it's just a great concept. I just think it's what you came up with. And I know there's a lot of coordination to this, but it's going to be a fun event. And I think fun events is what people like more now than more of the competitive. Yes, you have the competitive there. It's still competitive, and the money's there for sure. I mean, with these prizes that you're saying, the amounts, it's going to be competitive. But at the end of the day, we are going to have a blast with each other.
Yeah, for sure. And actually a comment to pull in that kind of touches on that is, Cole says he's super excited to participate in Sauk Prairie River Fest. His only concern is that professional kayak anglers teaming up and blowing out the individual division. Feels like individuals are at a disadvantage when competing against a team of professionals. That's something that I love to talk about because, well, 2 things. One, because first of all, there's not going to be like there might be a few folks that you would say are like professional or really top level kayak anglers fishing the event. It's not like it's the whole field. It's just a few probably going to come at each event. We're not talking like you see at the Bassmaster event, where everyone's a stick, right? In those events, you're not paying, or Hobie event, they all can catch it. Doesn't matter. But this one, a few of those people might fish these events. But here's the cool part. If you ever go look at any of those people that Cole, you're saying these professionals, they really don't have the finishes. You remember them because they popped and they won, or they did really good many times. But if you actually go look at all their events, there's many events where they're way down, middle of the pack, not quite. There are definitely some that are more consistent that are pretty darn good every time. And Russ is obviously probably the best example of that. Christine's another good example. She's very consistent, but they still have their off event. So it's not like every event, it's not like it's some guarantee. And then 2, they can only take up, if there's just a few of those at every event, they can only take up, 1 place each, right? If they even happen to fish well and win. But we're giving the advantage back to the intermediate angler when you make it a 5-fish event over a day and a half. You see what I'm saying? If that was 10 fish, it just keeps putting that pro angler, whatever you want to call them, at an advantage, right? But anybody can win with 5 fish because you got a day and a half to do it. So that, and then on top of all of that, the fact that they're going to be there, they're there for a reason too, to hang out and meet you guys. If you're fans of what they do and you follow them, they're there to help impart wisdom to you guys. And if you want to ask them questions, they're all good friends of mine. They're open to sharing, not holding back and hiding information. They want to share and help everyone catch more and bigger fish too. They really do. And that's why a lot of their channels are definitely a part of that. And while they do seminars at some of these pro anglers, like you're saying, will be doing seminars at the events too. So even if they happen to take up a few spots and do good, and even if they both do good and someone wins the team, they're only going to take up 1 spot in that payout structure. And hopefully you're going to be better from learning from them anyway. And they definitely aren't going to be able to win that micro bag too. I'm pretty sure it'd be hard for someone to win all 3. But
yeah, and I want to say real quick, I was
and I also just to chime in on that.
Do you want to go?
Oh, but yeah, just to chime in on the, the pros coming in, always winning, that kind of stuff, is there's also a chance that, there's not a lot of practice days. And also it's in a new location. So they have to go in, learn the areas too, and also find fish. So it's not something that they fished last year and the year before, and they have their honey holes. So it kind of, I think, levels out a little bit of that playing field too. So.
Yeah, good points, Dustin.
With the Shoaley one, that's the only one that I'm going to be able to compete in. So that's the only one I've actually looked at the people that are in there. In addition to my friend that is on my team, I recognize 8 other anglers that are in there just because they're my friends, and none of us talked to each other beforehand about it. We all just saw it and signed up. So I'd called him. I'm like, wait, Dylan's in this one, and Marshall's in this. Marshall and his dad, and then I've also got Aaron. And I called all these guys. I'm like, are you all competing in this tournament without telling me? And they're like, yeah, it popped up. I guess we all decided we had to do it, being it's the first Shoaley tournament that we've seen in a long time, especially in one of our stomping grounds, one of our favorite places to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. That is very cool. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with, and maybe one day, we end up doing like I did back at the River Bassin Trail. You remember, Dustin? I had I don't remember what I called it. I think I called it the Average Joe division or something. I had a casual. I had a casual angler division and then a pro division. And when the casual angler division, if somebody won in that division, they could never enter casual angler again. They always have to go up to pro. So I've considered doing that, guys, because we do want 300, 400, 500, 600 people at these events. And I think it would be cool if maybe we can do it next year. We got to start small and then, work our way up. But if you did a casual angler division or whatever you want to call it, you made a lower entry fee just to get more people there having fun. The only thing I would say to that is to make it where the pros would ever even fish the pro division, because now they're competing all against other pros, which is even harder for them, right? You see what I'm saying? So why would I pay more money just to compete against less people, smaller payout, and it's all the best people? That's hard for them to swallow, right? So, for anybody, that's just not going to work. So what would I have to do for that is probably pull money from the entry fees from the casual angler division and push it to the pro division. You might say, well, that stinks, but it's pulling a lot of their top anglers out of your division. So he's giving you a better chance. So there would have to be a little bit of money that would get shoved from that division up. So that's the only way I've ever thought that I could do it, and everyone could be a win-win, and everyone can understand why that's happening. I don't know, but
that's some good give and take. That makes sense.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe one day we can pull something like that off. But
so you're booked up for 2025. What do you think after that? Do you think you're going to continue after? Or you're going to just see how the next 2 years go?
Yeah, good question. You've got to start super early. So it's kind of crazy because you actually need to be doing 2026 stuff right now, which I've kind of moving on a little bit too, but just having some preliminary conversations with some tourism. Nothing needs to get signed or contracts this early, but you got to start planning it out now and getting some conversations even going. So yeah, I'm unless we just totally flop, you know what I mean? I could not do 2025 at all if no one shows up to these things, but I'd have to, tell those tourism departments. Obviously I wouldn't take any funding from them at all, any support. And I would say, all right, we're not doing it. Sorry. And then just end it. But I think we give it 2-3 years. And I believe with the momentum we have and the structure and the format, I think it's going to be successful. We can just keep it going, hopefully forever.
I think it's going to be definitely going to be big. And I think it's going to be pushed on, even if you're not around doing it. Somebody else may take it over depending on what your future looks like, but I think it's definitely going to continue for sure.
Yeah, cool. I think so, man. And the format, what I like about this format, guys, is if you hold a tournament on one body of water, let's say Lake Fork, it's not that big of a lake like the Elite Series go there, but it's a smaller lake for the Elite Series. But let's say you go there, or a lake that's similar size or whatever. You cannot have, it's very hard. You can, but you can't have 250, 300, 400, 500 anglers on that body of water with the bass boats and local traffic. And when I say is, yes, of course you can float that many people, but will everyone have a good experience if you have that many people there? No. There's going to be people all over each other. We know how it is in tournaments. You prefer that, you don't have people all on top of you. And obviously the less water that's in play, the more likely that's just going to happen. So what we've done is develop, and this kind of speaks to the growth and hopefully us being around longer term, we developed a format where, because lakes, rivers, creeks are in bounds, you might have 150 miles of river and creeks, and you might have 20,000 acres of lake between 3 lakes that are, 7,500 and 7,500 and whatever, so that's kind of the idea, is we can get, and that's, I think, how we can stick around longer, is just the more people we can get these events, I think it'll just be the bigger, it's better for everyone. Everyone wins. Sponsors win. You guys win as anglers, because it's just a big party. And like I said, I'm paying out 15%. So obviously, if you get, let's say, what is that, 20 people or 200 people in a tournament, then that's like 30 people that are getting paid out. So payouts go deeper, the other prizes and all the fun stuff. So anyway, I think it'll be, the key to this success is definitely making a system, a game, if you want to call it that, where 250, 300, 400, 500, 600 people can still come and not be like, all up on each other and frustrated, and have space of their own and find fish alone, even potentially. I didn't even notice Paul's in here. I'm not sure how long he was in the green room. Paul, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
Aggressively average angler.
That's right.
I got to run.
All right. See you, Dustin.
See you, Drew. See you guys.
See ya. What's up, dudes? What are you doing? You're like, what's this
Doing
here?
this is my professional Paul here.
There you go. Oh yeah, man. Nice. We're coming on the Kayak Adventure Series live stream during the day job. Nice.
Don't tell my boss, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. We just got done talking about how everything that you post on the internet it could be public, and you're actually public right now. Someone's going to take this right now, screenshot it, send it to your boss, and
they all know. They all know. But I think as long as there's no timestamp, I think we'll probably be all right.
Yeah, right. Hey, so you're with the Aggressively Average Anglers, and what's funny is we just got done talking about the Casual Angler Division. We should just rename it the Average Angler Division. If we ever did that, and separated it from a pro division.
I like it.
I'll make the T-shirt for you.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, seriously, do you think if you are this average angler and you want to say, let's charge you, I don't know, $75 for an entry fee?
Yeah.
Are you upset if $25 of that goes to, you know what I mean, the pro division, because you don't have to compete with the quote unquote pros, or are you okay with the structure we have? Because like Dustin said, everyone just gets 4 days of fishing within 2 weeks. So a lot of these like anyone who's quote unquote pro angler and comes to these things, a lot of times they may be somewhere for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days if there's no off limits, right? But with our format, everyone's stuck to 4 within 2 weeks of the tournament, so it levels the playing field a little bit. The 5 fish over the day and a half. I think you're going to see surprisingly some locals and some folks that aren't big names come up and actually pull off some wins, because you hook into that 122 or 23-inch fish, you're already way ahead. That's 1/5 of your stringer that is way above the average, and it can happen to anybody on any day. So
I think the locals are going to win it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I see in the comments, if you're the locals from Metal Jones, I think you're absolutely right. I think the locals that know the rivers, know the places you're going this year, Drew, or I think are going to be the ones at the top of the leaderboards.
At least en masse. I think one thing though is like you got to really think about who's joining. Like, because you're talking about average anglers, so you got to think about whether that's a average tournament angler, or that's just an average angler. Because a lot of average anglers, they're not going to sign up for maybe 1 or 2 tournaments, like a whole year, especially kayak anglers. Like, we're talking about pond hoppers, man. Like, a lot of these people that just get out and go fish, like, that's all they want to do. And so the reason that they're signing up for that tournament, I mean, they're looking at those prize packs like, oh yeah, that'd be dope to win one. But I don't think a lot of those like truly like dudes who just like to fish, they're not going to this thing to freaking win it all. That doesn't mean most of them won't try and all that sort of thing, and they're not competitive and all that. But like, you got to think about who you're targeting, because like an average tournament angler is going to understand that split between divisions. The average tournament angler who's maybe on the Michigan Kayak Trail, right? That person's gonna understand all that. They're gonna know that I could win because I'm going to home water and all that. average non-tournament angler, they're going for the fun, man. They're gonna go meet. They're gonna go meet with their friends. Maybe they used to do the kayak trail. Maybe they don't now, and they're going to bring their family. They're going to have a good time. They're going to go to a couple seminars, meet you, like that sort of thing. So
Exactly.
you got to think about who you're targeting when you're talking format, because I think format these days, I've seen a ton of changes in the way people format their tournaments, and I think you need to be really cognizant of, am I targeting non-tournament anglers? Am I targeting like just everyday anglers that I want to come, bring in somebody new? Because you're gonna lose every time if you try and cater to both groups. They're totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
exactly.
you're describing me with that. You're like, everything you're saying is just like, it looks like it's going to be a ton of fun for the local guys. You're bringing this in. They don't care about, this being the first tournament. I don't, think I'm going to go out there and slay everything and come in there with the biggest bag. But it looks like it's going to be a blast hanging out there with all my buddies, on water that I know.
Oh yeah.
On boat, because I've never had access to that. So this just seems like something more attainable, something more reasonable that I can get into. Rather than jumping straight into some big tournament that is like a big name that I can't really, I feel like I have no reason to be there. Like I shouldn't. I can't keep up.
You already knew already. The whole format, Drew, is already new. So just leave it as is, and everybody's gonna have fun. I think you're just better off leaving it.
Exactly. Merlin's Hammer's comment's really good. It says going against the bigger names is part of the fun. Why wouldn't you want to challenge yourself? And I agree. And one thing we haven't touched on yet also, I mean, besides just the fact that it's saying it's pretty cool. Because again, when I fish tournaments, I know people are like, oh, okay, I just want to try to beat Drew. That'd be cool if I get, like, people say that, like, man, that's my only goal. Like your name's on the side of my kayak if they still have the Jacksons that I designed, or, they know me from, winning the Bassmaster AOY or the Hobie or whatever. And they're like, I just want to beat Drew. They don't care where they finish sometimes. And that gives you the chance. If some of those people are in these tournaments, you really get to see how you stack up, and you might surprise yourself. You might realize then that you could probably go fish some of those other bigger, more elite trails, which again is part of our point to this whole thing, to get people in the sport at any price point kayak they have. Like Ethan started with that Pelican, dude, you're welcome here. You can fish very shallow rivers, creeks, access wherever you want, and still have a shot against someone who's got a $20,000 setup on the main lake. And you might surprise yourself at your skill set and what you can do against some of those top names. But also you get if you're the first 100 anglers that enter, you get $100 gift bag from our sponsors. So you're already kind of like not losing, because if it's $150 to enter the individual division, you're getting $100 worth of stuff right there on top of all the other stuff we mentioned. So I think it's gonna work. And like you said, Ryan, we're gonna stick with it for the first year and see how it goes, and we can always cross the bridge later, if we need to with changing a format. But this Jason's point was saying right here, instead of pulling from the casual pot division, just charge higher entry for the pro division. Well, of course we would charge higher entry for the pro division. I'm talking they'd be paying like $500. But as a pro, think about it. If everybody there was, Guillermo and Christine and Russ, all the Rolando, I mean, like all the big names, Ewing Miner, all the biggest names, it's not as easy for us to like want to go put $500 a piece into competing against just those, because you need everybody in the field to make that payout big. It's actually much harder. That event is much harder for just those, and the pot is less because you don't have a big long pot. So you got to pull a little bit from that casual division, because what incentive do the pros have to, like,
especially because they're foregoing something else. Like, you've got them pulling them away from something else. So if they have a lower chance of winning, less money in the pot, it costs them more to get in, and they can't do something else. There's no way. So it's like you're better off not charging them, or paying a lower number of them to come out and draw other people in that you can beat. Like, I would rather pay Christine and Guillermo to be like, hey, come on out, do a couple seminars, fish with people, showcase the tournament, get a big draw, get 100 more people to sign up that are all paying a lower entry that you as the average angler can go beat. I would take that all day if I'm the average. But that's why I think it's so important to know what you're trying to do with the event. If it's hey, get as many new people as possible, micro bag me, big fish me, top 10 big fish me, like pay me out for those, like, because I don't care about number one, like, you know what I mean, like. So I think it really depends on who you're trying to draw in. And this is like people have the same problem. I say problem, same decisions they have to make with like CrossFit competitions if you're a gym
Yeah.
owner, or it doesn't matter. Like when it comes down to like pot of money. I mean, even like shooting competitions, like it's all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You got to decide who you want to be there and who you're going to target, because you're just going to tick somebody off, one
Yep.
of those groups off for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Robert Weiker's going to fish some of these events, and he's a hammer too. So it's definitely going to be some good anglers in them, and then we'll just have to see where everyone stacks up and how it works on year one. But like you said, if you're just an intermediate or beginner, you just enter the team division, let's say, it's $75. I mean, $75 for the experience to be rubbing shoulders, learning from those pros, being around everyone just for a good time. I mean, that's nothing, just to be there for the whole week and have fun and for a good time. So I think we're targeting the right audience, this intermediate beginner. And if the big names come out, great. We'll just learn from you guys. And if we beat us, you were supposed to. And if we beat you, then that's like really cool that I can say, you guys out there could say, you beat Christine, or you beat Jody, or you beat, Cody Milton, or whoever it is that happens to like roll into some of these events that friends of mine that fish the high level Bassmaster and Hobie stuff and KBF
You got
stuff.
crazy good water too. Like your odds at lucking into a big bag are actually pretty good. Like if you got a decent day on those river systems, you don't even have to be good. Like if someone came in before you got there and was like, hey, any still water that you see that's deeper than 2 feet, cast into it, float your way down. You got a good shot at landing a couple 18-inch smallies in that river system. Like
especially with how much water is in the tournaments.
Yeah. Exactly. And how much water could be alone. Pi Squared said how much for an autograph on his future Sholey. He'll bring the marker and clear coat. That brings up a good point. Of course, I'll sign anybody's Sholey and do it all the time at trade shows and stuff. But if for any of these pros that do come there, your Gene Jensen's, Chad Hoover, I think he's going to come to some. He said he's just going to come to be an angler and have fun. Let's just fish. Let's have fun. It doesn't matter who's there. Christine's, we've already talked about, and Russ and whoever. That's a good chance. They would love to see you guys. If you want an autograph, cool. If that's your thing, you're into that, they would love to do that at these events. So that's kind of what it's all about. Just a big party, big festival back in the boondoggle days of kayak fishing and why we kind of fell in love with it to begin with. So many of us, and still obviously have that kind of stuff going on a lot at, local levels as well. But having a big national trail that focuses on this is certainly a little bit different. So any other cool topics you guys want to touch on?
Drew, are you going to fish, and which boat are you bringing?
Well, I can't fish these events. It's a little bit of a conflict of interest. So we that was actually our where's that Bust and Myths one here? There we go. Bust and Myths. We did that one last week or the week before. People were like, are you fishing these events? Well, no, I get to choose where we're going. And I fished all over the country like my whole career, whether it was, traveling with Jackson back when I was with Jackson, or traveling, for the Hooked on Wild Water show or the River Bass and Tournament Trail. I kind of know, like, even if I've never been there, I've map studied, scouted, and know how good the fishing is everywhere and where we should kind of expose, you know what I mean? That's never been exposed because it's never had like one huge lake that's 70,000 acres. So we've never know about it, right? The places that are really good, we should expose. So I get to pick that and pick the rules and all that. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like I'm getting favoritism. So I'm just not going to, I'm an MC, run the whole thing. And dude, putting this thing together has been so challenging. You guys have no idea how like up and down it is every day. I'm fighting for you guys like you would not believe, with sponsors and things like that. And for everyone to believe in this thing that I think we all believe in, obviously. And now it's going to maybe change the industry forever into a new, cool kind of game, and it's tough, man. Like it's a full-time job essentially. And it is tough. I got some really cool stuff I wish I could announce. It's not quite done yet. That could be amazing. Or I could get a call, and even though it looked positive, they say, no, we can't do this. And it feels like you just got rejected by that girl you thought, you wanted to ask out at the bar or whatever, or in college or high school. And it's just like, it hurts, man. Like it hurts because I worked so hard to build that relationship and get the calls with them and share them the passion for this. And then for them to like take me all the way to that point and then say, man, we just can't do it. It's like, it hurts, man. So I have days of like up and down, like depression and anxiety, and like just struggle through all the stuff that goes through this battle that I'm fighting for you guys. So the only way everyone out there can help us is just continue to spread the word. There's just no reason not to, really. I mean, like I said, we're promoting any of the other series in the trails, we're promoting all different kayak brands and sponsors, all different anglers and their styles. And the bigger the party, the more the pot goes for everyone. There's really zero reason not to just share the passion for this and make these as big as possible, because there's no loser in these events, period. Like, nobody's losing. So local clubs, we're doing joint events, like promoting what they're doing, on the local level. So we got the charity, pediatric cancer. We're raising a ton of money, hopefully, for pediatric cancer this year through the kayak raffles and other items that we might raffle off. So definitely a win-win all the way around. We just got to continue to push the love, man, and the positivity for this thing. And hopefully
the sponsors got to keep watching too. I mean, I know I've gone through it. That's why I kind of stopped asking people. If they're going to approach me, they'll approach me on my own. But, I mean, if the sponsors or people you've been reaching out to just watch these shows and just see how much everybody's so for this, even though it's like, a small group of us on these podcasts, but they got to realize that we speak for pretty much everybody out there. So they got to realize that everybody's going to love this new series. They love this new setup, and it's just going to grow. So for them to say no to you, they're the ones losing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, man. And if you guys can, one thing, if everyone's listening, watching now, we've said this last week, but registrations can move to different events. So if you're on the fence about Shoalipalooza, you think you can go ahead and register so you can get that $100 gift bag. The sooner people register, this applies for all tournaments. So help whenever you can, whenever you're fishing a tournament. I know hopefully you guys will, but whenever you can, whether it's a Hobie, Bass, KBF, whatever it is, All-American, local clubs, register sooner than later. Now, in this particular series, sooner is just going to get you that $100 gift bag. So if you guys register sooner, it just starts to help people see the momentum and how many people could get in all these events. So go do that and make sure you get the $100 gift bag and spread the word, and we'll keep growing this thing. And I'll read Southwest Indiana Outdoors says he's very much an amateur bass fisherman, and he has no problem fishing with pros or fishing with pros fishing the event, if I could speak here. I'm going into it giving my best, and if I win, I'll be ecstatic, but if I lose, it's still fun. So that's the right kind of attitude of the person we're trying to attract, and I think that's the attitude of most people. And then we'll wrap up with a couple comments and from you guys to wrap up this thing, and then a few more from the comments you guys online here. But Jason says, for me, tourney entry fees are like buying a ticket to a movie or an amusement park, buying the entertainment opportunity. So yeah, you're just buying an entertainment opportunity. If you place or win a door prize, that's just a bonus. So for example, for us, the aggressively average angler award is the person who we came up with that when you guys were on here that a few weeks ago. And if you're the most aggressively average, you're middle of the pack, you're getting an award. If you, like you said, win the big bass, you get an award. If you end up, there's a lot of other prize. I don't have them all in front of me now, but there's a lot of other prizes that are a little bit more random. The raffles are obviously random. Some things are a little bit more random. The Omnia tackle for trash, you get $100 gift card or whatever it is, 100, 125, because you found the most unique item of trash and picked it up out of the lake or the river, and it counts throughout the entire tournament week. It doesn't have to be on your tournament day to even waste time. You could find something cool and pick it up. I don't know.
Dude, we did a river cleanup. I found a handful of diapers. I found a laptop. I found at least 40 feet of tubing. I found like multiple sleeping bags, and this was all within like not even a quarter mile of stream. So you would be blown away if you just actually look around. Like, wow. It could be your favorite fishing spot that you think is pristine. You start walking around for like 20 minutes, like looking for trash. You will find some stuff.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's a microwave in the water.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I would not put that past no, absolutely.
And Ethan, as you're on representing Dark Horse, and we had Bobby on earlier, and those guys. We also have the day two Dark Horse. Now, here's what's cool. Day two Dark Horse is actually very, very like sneaky. I don't know, like it's a sneaky award because we have the half day is the first day, right? Well, a lot of people aren't even going to be able to fish that half day, or maybe they can just fish a couple hours or whatever. They're getting off work, they get there, but hopefully most people can obviously fish it. But if you don't do good or you can't fish it at all, it actually increases your chances of winning the day two Dark Horse. So just because you can't fish Friday, don't worry about it, because a lot of people who win or do good at these events, some event, I promise you, someone will catch 5 fish on Friday, and every one of those 5 fish will get cold out on Saturday. So essentially, Friday was irrelevant to their final bottom line. It was irrelevant. That's probably going to happen multiple times for the people in the money. A lot of people are going to have 5 fish that wouldn't have ever mattered. So the day 2 dark horse, if you can't make Friday, you're almost at an advantage for that particular prize as well. So all these other things, I think we're kind of touching on a good topic here, just to how everyone's kind of, you guys watching and commenting are basically saying like, this is like putting in your $250 for a 2-month-long rec basketball league or whatever. It's like you're putting in $75 per person for the team division, like you're doing, Ethan, or $150 for the individual division, just for the experience and the fun. And you understand if you win something cool, if you don't, that's cool. It's just about the experience. So
whatever happens, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. There we go. Here we go. Zach from Dark Horse says, we're small. American business being a sponsor of KAS is really exciting for us. This is big for us, and we are honored. Absolutely. We're honored and appreciate all of our sponsors pushing and sharing this so much. Mark Bradford here locally, he's excited to catch his first shoal bass at the Shoaly Palooza. He's fired up, and I am too, man. So that's – I tell you what, man, I've toyed around with it. I want to go to 6 new places every year, right? Just new, because that's what the Kayak Adventure Series is all about. No one has some big advantage. Obviously, there will be some local clubs probably utilize some of that water. But even let's take Michigan, for example, where your event is, Paul. Mm-hmm. In Michigan, the local clubs there, the Michigan Trails, they fish one of those lakes, and that's it on a day. They don't have the option to fish all those rivers and all 11 of those lakes in one event. So now, even if they have prior knowledge at a couple of those lakes, they don't maybe know necessarily where to go on a tournament that's all of it inbound. So it's definitely, we're definitely going to be going to new places. And that's the key. What I'm saying, I guess, is Shoaly Palooza could be something that if we ever go back to one quicker or sooner than the other one, that might be our Masters. You know what I mean? Augusta National, every year on the PGA Tour, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It might, you know what I mean? Like maybe you mix up the time of year or something for us. But if there's one I would ever go back to again, it would be that, and sooner it would be Shoaly Palooza to make it our Masters, because it's just too cool of a fish, too cool of an event. So maybe that's something to consider. But anyway, everything else is always, we're going to go to new places, because that's what this is all about: exploration and adventure for you guys and your entire family. So
real quick for Sunday, Drew, are you going to be teaching any of the classes for the paddling certification?
I will on some of them. I think
we're
going to get that going pretty soon. I want to say Michigan. I'm not, because we're going to a family vacation right after Michigan to the Upper Peninsula. So not for Michigan, which is, by the way, if you've never been to the Upper Peninsula, I haven't. My wife has, and she's like, we've got to go. You've got to go. So if anyone ever needs to do something after that event, if you're bringing your family, that would be a cool destination to go hit, the Upper Peninsula. But I'll do some. I don't know if Shoaly Palooza I'll do it or not. Go ahead, Ethan.
I was just gonna say I got to visit Michigan and the Upper Peninsula for the first time this past winter, and I got stuck in Sault Ste. Marie and Pellston in the middle of a snowstorm, which, being from Georgia, was completely foreign to me. It was completely
I shot my
crazy
first buck in
walking
Pellston,
around
Michigan.
Like a foot and a half of snow.
No way.
Oh yeah. The airport up there, it looks like a Bass Pro Shop too, with all the
turkey
the
mount
gear and stuff
that
mounted on
turkey
the
mount
wall.
at that airport is insane.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. I've heard great things about it during the summer. During the winter, though, it was just all snow.
The wasteland.
Nice. Well, it's definitely what we're trying to do with this. The Wisconsin event, there's going to be cool stuff for the family afterwards. There's a lot of stuff to do. Every event, I mean, really, there's lots of stuff to do for the family, the Georgia one. But, yeah, Ryan, I'm definitely going to do some of those ACA classes after some of the events. But maybe not at the Shoaly Palooza, just because it's the first. And I might there's a lot of other anglers. Russ Snyder's, I think, doing that one for sure. So he'll probably teach a class. You got Jeff Little at that one. He'll probably teach a class. Dustin Hoy. They'll probably do classes after that one. I might just need to decompress and it's going to be so challenging putting this all together with all these moving pieces and parts. For that first one, I may not do one there, but at the other, maybe in Missouri or Michigan. But you guys, a lot of that stuff's getting added to the site now. Obviously, we wanted to make sure the rules, the boundaries, all the stuff you guys needed as competitors, and soon here the payout charts will be live. We wanted all that stuff to go first. The other stuff's up there, but a few things still have to get TBD stuff still has to get added in, and I'll figure that out soon. So they're definitely going to be worth it. That's for sure. I promise you'll be a better angler when you can learn some of those tips and tricks that we're teaching about paddling, and obviously safety is important, but I mean, you can't catch anything if you're, flipping over or, even worse, die, obviously. So we want to keep people safe, but the paddle strokes, I'm telling you, man, even I still learn stuff, and I'm a pretty good paddler, I would say. And I even learned stuff from the instructors who were teaching these classes, and new paddle techniques and strokes and things to do, keep you upright, keep you safe. And, so I'm encouraging as many people to enter those and sign up for those classes as possible. So,
well, don't be nervous on the first one, Drew. You got this. You have enough backing from everybody around you, so it'll go good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man. If you guys ever want to volunteer and help out, once the tournament's over for anything, I know we'll need help breaking stuff down or setting something up, who knows, but we'd love to. I mentioned it last week, but we always could use volunteers at the events. So if you're interested and you want to lend a hand, then hit me up. We're definitely taking anybody we can. So,
Awesome.
All right,
Well,
guys.
thank you, Drew, for
Yeah.
setting all this stuff up. I really appreciate it. Like, I'm really so excited for all this, and I can't wait to have it start.
Yeah, man, me too. I'm glad you came on. Love your energy. Can't wait to see you there at the event. And hopefully, man, maybe even handing you a check right off the stage, because that is one thing. It's pretty cool. We're going to hand checks to all the anglers right when you walk off the stage. You're going to get your checks, go cash them that Monday. And, yeah, it's going to be exciting. So hopefully we'll see you on stage there.
That's exciting,
Paul,
man.
can't wait to see you, buddy. Can't wait to see you at the Michigan event. And Ryan, you're going to be at the Pennsylvania event. So
at the
yeah, we'll see you guys.
I'll see what else. I'll try to look in for maybe some other event too yet this year. Let me just peek into the schedule one more time.
All right, buddy. Sounds good, man. Thanks for your time. You
Have a
guys
good one.
follow everybody. See you.
No problem.
All right, bye. All right. Now I'm just lonely here. I will end the show with the video I played at the very beginning, just because it's a fun video and good way to go out. But and I love the song that Billy made for this intro, and now it's about to be an outro, but it pretty much describes the Kayak Adventure Series pretty well. So listen to the words, and we just want to celebrate everyone's diversity and just continue to share the love and passion for kayak fishing and what it's done for each of us in our lives. I know I wouldn't be the same person if it wasn't for kayak fishing and what it's done for me, and just being out in God's creation, and just, how close I really feel to God, just being out there. What it's done for me personally, kept me out of a lot of trouble for sure when I was younger. So you guys watch this video, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to just be kind to yourself and love each other. That's what this is really all about at the end of the day. So check out this video of me catching this fish in a wild location back in 2020.
Oh my God! Oh my Lord!
Into something quite extraordinary.
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore, you want to be shallow, you want to go up the creek. That is sophisticated. Or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
Oh shoot, don't jump. Come here, baby. Come freaking here. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary.
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore, you want to be shallow, you want to go up the creek. You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated, or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to